Hi guys, and welcome to this video on the full moon in Libra, which is also a lunar eclipse that happens on the 25th of March 2024. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm in Central Europe, so I look at these via Central European time. This happens at 8 in the morning, so take the time difference into account if you're in a different time zone. But I always mention this, a full moon is like a 3-day event. So you'll start to feel this on the 24th, 26th, 24th, 25th, and 26th. But also because it's a lunar eclipse, as in the moon is in the shadow of the earth, it's kind of darkened out. There's a reset moment, and there's like a obscuring of the self so that it can be reinvented. And eclipses, the influences, last for about 6 months. So this is really significant. And what I feel about this eclipse particularly, it's a wonderful event that allows you to include yourself in what's going on around you. It's like an opportunity to put your finger on the pulse, to be right in the middle of things, to see how you and what you believe and what you can do, how you can make a positive contribution to the greater whole, and how you can slot yourself in effortlessly. So if you're if you're in any position where you've had to adapt yourself a little bit to fit into a certain niche, into something that you want to create, this eclipse is going to give you amazing ideas around how you can actually accomplish that. So let's look at this then. This is a penumbral lunar eclipse. Okay. So we've got the sun here, we've got the earth in the middle, we've got the sun shining on the earth, and then the shadow is cast here, right? And that's where the moon sits. So the blackest part of a shadow is the umbra. And then the more, like fuzzy things around the blackest part of a shadow, that's called the penumbra, where it's a little lighter. And the moon is in the penumbra of the earth. So the moon in astrology represents the way you feel, your intuition, the mother, what makes you feel at home. Ultimately, I always mention that the moon is your feeling, it's what's going on in here, and the sun is your head and what you're striving towards becoming, right? So the fact that we have the moon, when it's full, suddenly interrupted, and it's like, hang on a minute, you're at your most shiniest, you're at your brightest, we don't want that right now, because you're in the shadow, so night, bye-bye. So it's like a forced moment of stillness. And this is a very mundane example, so please excuse me. But when I was walking up the hill, I thought of it like this. If you have a city at night, you've got all the lights on, right? And that is powered by some sort of central power station. When that power station goes out, i.e. the shadow hits the moon, all the lights go out, but it's an opportunity to reset the whole grid, to correct any errors, to maybe even adjust the plant to make it more ecologically supportive, whatever it may be. Sometimes you need to turn the lights off in order to get things organized and sorted out before you can turn them back on. And that's what this is. It's an opportunity to become aware of your own feelings and your own part in things, and how at times you may be less than constructive. You're able to recognize that and not immediately go, oh, I should be further along than this, and why do I do this? And you don't go into that kind of thing. You immediately say, okay, this is what is, and I see the consequences related to that. I now have the opportunity to reset, to make those changes so that I can move forward in a way which is more constructive for me, other people involved, and that the whole process runs more smoothly. Most of us don't want to have a lot of conflict and back and forth in our lives. Most of us just want to pick something we care about and get on with it, right? So this is an opportunity to iron out those wrinkles that you find within yourself that you may feel are problematic, and it smooths it all out so that you have fewer problems, kind of extending yourself and opening up. Okay, so let's have a look at what's going on. So we've got the moon at 5 degrees in Libra. So it gets to this completion point in its 28-day cycle, and it's like, hooray, I've made it. Let me shower planet Earth with all this Libra energy, which means everyone's going to connect, and there's a sense of harmony and mutual understanding and a consideration of the greater whole and what my place in it is. And then it's lights out. So I feel connected, but I also feel connected to the things that are hidden within me, my own feelings, things that are going on internally, I'm being given an X-ray machine and I can see what's happening within. So again, that I can get any obstacles out of the way and become someone who finds connection and relationship and teamwork and anything group related easier. So this is astrological kind of PR training, right? For anyone who has to go on television and talk, they're going to get a coach who instructs them. These are the things that will bring in more connections and are likely to go down well. And these are the things that are maybe best to be avoided. So you are able to do that for yourself. The sun's on the other side, it's at 5 degrees in Aries. So the sun, your head, your conscious identity is very aligned with how do I take action to create more freedom in my life, to get things out of my way and to create a smooth kind of path forward without a lot of conflict and drama, right? So it is about the self, but it's wise enough to say the self exists in connection with other people. You are not an island, you're a human being who has to talk to other human beings. And there's no getting away from that. And this is really an opportunity to have a sense of joy around it, see the usefulness of it, but also it gives you the ability to kind of start over in relationships if they've been disappointing or haven't gone the way you want. Next to the sun, we've got Neptune at 27 degrees in Pisces. Neptune is the water planet of dreams and intuition. 2 and 7 is 9, that's spirituality and completion, that's the hermit in the tarot, and Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, which is about spiritual truths, right? So Neptune really gives you this lantern of illumination when it comes to your own identity, and you're able to operate more easily in the light than it would be stumbling around in the dark. You see? So the dark moment is a reset. It's time to fix things so that when you can shine and be active and go about your business, it's less problematic than it was before. 5 in numerology is freedom, right? So this is freedom from self, freedom from obstacles, delays, a sense that I can't. And anything that's less than constructive, you can throw out the window here. It's a wonderful opportunity to just say, I'm only going to keep the most positive, useful things to me in my head. I'm not going to bother with all this other stuff that I've acquired over time, the years. So the moon forms a lot of significant connections. If you look at the center of the wheel, you see the moon connects with Pluto and Aquarius via a trine. Then on the other side, it connects with the rising in Gemini. Then the Gemini rising trines the midheaven in Aquarius and Pluto in Aquarius, which creates this big blue triangle, and that's known as a grand trine. And a grand trine in a chart is an area of real talent. So if I see a grand trine in your birth chart, it really shows me specifically that you have one huge talent in a particular area. This grand trine is in the element of air. So the talent is about understanding, communication, learning, teaching, connecting with other people through words and writing and ideas. So the moon I've mentioned, then Pluto is at 1 degrees in Aquarius. Pluto is about transformation and change and rebirth. It's the phoenix rising from the ashes. And at 1 degrees in Aquarius, it's a rebirth of your ideas and what you think is going to help yourself and other people. So you as the humanitarian and the teacher. And all of this is about getting rid of the stuff that doesn't work for you and focusing in on what makes you feel confident, able, and empowered. And you're able to highlight that and bring it to the surface. Then the rising in Gemini is also at 1 degree. The rising sign or the ascendant in the birth chart is going to be your default setting, the thing that you automatically embody. Like if there's something difficult that's coming up, this is your first thought, your first reaction, knee-jerk reaction, right? And Gemini is about communication. It's ruled by Mercury, the communication planet. And it's all about how do I learn to solve problems and to, again, smooth the path forward. And at 1 degree, it's my ideas. So the focus, and it's like a door that opens in here and you can look in and see what's really going on, again, to make you more empowered and to pick the useful thinking and to separate from the useless thinking and to lean more into the useful side of things. Now, not only is this a kite, not only is this a grand trine, I messed that up, but it is a kite, right? Because on one of the sides, one of the trines, we've got 2 sextiles which peak to connect the sun to this big blue triangle. So if you look at the big blue triangle between the moon, Pluto, and Gemini, then between the rising in Gemini that sextiles the sun in Aries, and then the sun in Aries also sextiles Pluto in Aquarius, and that then creates a kite. And a kite is an amazing placement that says this talent is something that is meant to be used, but it's profound, you've got it for a reason, and if you use this talent, it can really create a change on a much broader scale, not just for you and your friends, but for other people out there in society. So air, the big talent, is that I'm able to communicate, I'm able to see things clearly, I can make decisions, I can sign contracts, I can be really confident about what I'm hearing and what I'm saying in return, right? No problems there. Mercury's not retrograde. And then with the peak of the sun in Aries, your identity in the fire sign of the Ram, it says, how am I going to use all this info tied up in order to fuel my car moving forwards in life? So it's a wonderful moment of you being like a sponge and absorbing all the information that you want. Then you're able to make sense of it and to shape it and repurpose it for your own needs. And then you immediately find an outlet, as in your life and how you're going to implement all of these ideas. I keep thinking about the shadow of the moon. It is full, right? So it's kind of like I've finished and I'm celebrating. And then when the lights are out, it's not so much about, oh, what's gone wrong? This is a crisis. It's almost like it's a contradiction, a juxtaposition. It's when I'm most alive that there are extremes, the most light and the most dark. So in some way then, you could say it's because this full moon is interrupted that you get glimpses into the hidden things that remain in you like you couldn't at any other time. Because it's the concept of duality, right? The further something is out on a limb, the further the thing on the other side is as well. So it's this extreme kind of back and forth of this eclipse that's, yeah, it's amazing. You're kind of like getting a guided tour of your inner environment. I love it. Let's see what else is going on. So we've got that trine. The moon opposes the sun, I've mentioned that, and Neptune. Then it also sesqui squares Uranus and Taurus, and Uranus and Taurus is 5 degrees away from Jupiter in Taurus. Uranus is the miraculous, the chaotic, anything can happen. If you look at the planet in our solar system, the path is super weird and it's like all over the place and skew and everything. So it's chaos, right? Unpredictable. Jupiter is the lucky planet of good fortune. It's the largest planet in our solar system and it's like a balloon. It goes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So these two in Taurus is amazing because Taurus is an earth sign. So your circumstances, anything can happen. Anything that you want to inflate and make bigger, you can. And any situation where you want to bring in other people in order to get something going is massively supported. So again, it's a really good time for people to plan big groups and big organizations where there's a lot of planning involved. So you won't get overwhelmed by any of that. Then we also have that trine to the rising in Gemini. I've mentioned that. And that's it as far as the relationships of the moon are concerned. But let's see what else is going on here. We've got Venus and Saturn together in Pisces. So that's a great sense of everything is fine because I'm spiritually loved and supported. So I have the confidence and the luxury of looking at other things in my life because I know everything's going to work out well. That is priceless, right? Mars is also in Pisces at 1 degree. Mars in Pisces is usually very focused on the self, and here it's more focused on spiritual understanding, and I want to go within and get to know myself better so that when I come out, I don't have to work so hard. Pluto, I've mentioned, it's on the midheaven. The midheaven is usually associated with work. It's when you're most active during the day, right? So at 2 degrees in Aquarius and then Pluto 1 degree away from it is really that I'm able to rebirth ideas about myself, about life, about the world, and then I'm able to connect that immediately via a job, via my relationships, via other people, and I'm able to apply it. Mercury, Chiron are in Aries, and the North Node is next to them as well. It's 16 degrees in Aries. So the whole point of this is I want to heal myself by looking within so that the future becomes less arduous and I'm not so ill at ease within myself. And then if you look at it differently, you'll see all this stuff up here in the 11th and 12th houses, right? Then you have a lot of nothing, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 7th, 8th houses, 10th house are all empty. And then you've got these 3 tiny little things on the other side. You've got the moon, which I mentioned, Black Moon Lilith, and the South Node. So all the empty between looks like a bunch of flowers to me. The moon and Black Moon Lilith and the South Node are like the stalk, right, or the stems. And then at the top are all the flowers. So what's more important, the flowers or the stem? And that's the great thing about this. You're able to see the usefulness of both things within yourself, any extremes, and that's why you're able to unify them and turn them into fuel to move forward. Because you're sucking up all your own power so that you can move forward. You're not wasting it. Oh, why am I not this? Why am I not that? It's none of that. So Black Moon Lilith at 19 degrees in Virgo gives you that critical eye to say, okay, this is something I see. I don't have to be overly emotional about it. The key thing is, am I going to change the behavior or the way of operating in future? Or am I going to keep it the same? That's all it is. So it's not guilt. Well, guilt just shames you and if something has gone wrong. But the problem with it is it doesn't talk about amending. It doesn't talk about doing it differently in future. It just keeps you in the past in that negative space, and this is the solution to that. And then the South Node at 16 degrees in Libra, the thing that's going to come so easy is my ability to connect with other people. So, piece of cake, walk in the park. So if I again look at those empty houses, this isn't so much about real things. It's not about how I come across in the world or how much money I make or who my employer is, what I do for work. This is about, I feel a sense of love for myself. I want to connect with myself. That then spills over, the good work done there, spills over into my relationships with other people, which will allow me, or it gives me a much better chance to actually realize my hopes and dreams when it comes to other people in my life and what they could mean. Maybe I want to get married, or maybe I want to have children, or maybe I want to feel connected to the higher realms so that I feel like my life has meaning. So it's all about this stuff that exists within, things that would fall under the realms of emotional pain or things that aren't visible about you, that you carry with you nonetheless. You're able to dump all of that and lighten the load. I love this. It's so poetic almost, that this big light is like, and if you think about the earth rolling in on top of it and then casting this shadow, it's like this huge thing that I feel is out of control is now oppressing me. But the thing that I didn't notice is that the dark actually gives me the opportunity to find clues, right? So I think that's the best way to use this. Let's see, anything else? Let me just tilt my head. Ooh, we've got a yod in the chart as well. So the yod is known as the finger of God, and it's a very unique quality that's just here on this day, right? So let's see, what does it connect? It connects Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus. Then they quincux the South Node in Libra. And then the South Node in Libra quincunxes Venus and Saturn in Pisces. And Venus and Saturn in Pisces then sextile Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus. And it closes up the big green finger, right? And the amazing quality here is that you're able to look at what you love and what's going on internally. But the amazing thing is you immediately are connected to the physical real world, and you're able to apply it, and you're able to build it and create it as a result. So it's instant. So I have the realization, and immediately it's like, okay, well, I know this about myself, for instance, in relationships now, so there's nothing stopping me anymore, so I'm going to go find that relationship. If that were possible. But it will feel that straightforward. The thing that kept me from my happiness in the past, I've now examined, it's gone, poof, and I can move ahead. So it's like a free therapy session. I love it. Okay, so let's see anything else. The modes, strongest modes are mutable. So you're able to feel what's going in and adapt as a result. And the strongest element in the moment of the eclipse is air, which is about ideas and my perspective and using my intellect as a scalpel to excise anything that's less than useful. Okay, so for each sign of the zodiac, Aries, you may notice that this full moon in Libra, the lunar eclipse, that you'll intuitively know the right people to connect with to get your ideas realized, especially to make kind of business transactions, to sign contracts, or even to start your own business. You're using this ability to connect in the area of work specifically. So if you need to set something up where there are a few people involved, do it this week during this full moon in Libra, and listen to what comes through for you. Taurus, you're going to find it really easy to see what's important in your life, and you're able to create a whole new purpose for yourself. So if you've kind of run out of steam or you've been at a loose end, your gaze in is so insightful, you can then take such charge of it and really rebuild yourself from the root if you want. So it's a Marine becoming an opera singer. Gemini, you'll understand how you can make your passion a reality on your own, especially if it involves creating your own structure, whether it's business related or not, but whatever format your passion is going to look like, you're able to bridge the gap between those two. So I know how to realize this, and this is how it's going to look. All systems go, let me do it. Cancer, you're going to find that you're very connected to your work and may experience a sense that you're completely on the right track when it comes to your work, your business, your career. That's going to grow your confidence and remove uncertainty. So you will have this overall feeling, either this works for me or it doesn't, which immediately makes things less complicated. And if you have the crux, this is working for me, then it's not such a problem to tweak little things that might not work. But it's a huge relief. It's like, I know now by looking within that this is okay. I don't need to reinvent the wheel again. Leo, pay close attention to anyone who sends out an invitation to you, both personally and work-wise. If you get an offer around the time of the full moon, so the 24th, 25th, and 26th, jump on it. It's not going to lead you down the wrong path. It'll be a genuine, amazing opportunity that you can use to make progress. Virgo, things are likely to calm down for you, or you may feel that this eclipse gives you a sense of real calm. And you may also notice that you may have anticipated something negative coming your way. So maybe you've been dreading something, or something's been hanging over you like a sword of Damocles, right? It's this eclipse you'll experience as a removal of dread or the anticipation of something negative, and you'll start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So for you, it's a renewed connection with yourself gives you a greater hope than you had in the past. Libra, make sure you connect with as many people as possible for the best results during this full moon. You are in a great place here, and your enthusiasm is infectious. So include as many people as possible in your life. You know, people throw out these little sayings, and, you know, again with the book, a lot of people say writing a book takes a village, right? So anything in your life that takes a village, get that going. You'll find it very, very easy to make those connections with the right people. Scorpio, you may notice that something that's been unclear or uncertain in your life now comes into perfect focus, allowing you to act and to move ahead. So things really click for you guys during this full moon, so pay attention. Sagittarius, you're likely to draw someone's attention, and you can make new connections easily because you come across as very charming and attractive this week. If you're a single Sagittarius, make sure you're dating as many people as possible this week. You're kind of magnetic. You have this otherworldly influence on people. Capricorn, you may become acutely aware of the fact that you're managing and balancing everything in your life really well. Could even say perfectly. You're on top of things. So write down the percentages. How much are you, like, let's say you're spending 60% of your day on work, 10 on socializing, 10 on exercise. Take note of what the current formula is. You found your sweet spot, and if you maintain those percentages, you're likely to maintain this feeling that you've got here during this full moon eclipse. Aquarius, take your own ideas around employment or self-employment seriously, and also make sure that you note things down. You're likely to have an influx of inspiration, and they're not just silly ideas, they're really valuable. Pisces, for you specifically, a light bulb goes on, and you understand a core truth about yourself, and more importantly, you accept it. So that's going to make your connections in future much easier, because you're showing this massive willingness to adapt, to change, and to do the work, which a lot of people often find very attractive too. So that's what I get for you here during this eclipse. I hope it gives you an idea of what you'll be working with. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to order your reading. And to draw up your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, that's not a problem. I can either use sunrise, but what's better is to rectify your chart, which means to manually work out your date of birth. And the way to do that is you send me 10 significant life events, things that you feel have kind of changed you. And then I can manually work out the time of birth, which is really useful because the chart changes every 4 minutes. So having an accurate time is really helpful. Then once I've got your birth chart, like the one next to me here, it's a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born, and I can really give you a lot of insight into who you are, what's coming up in future, if you're going through a period of change, or you're considering moving, or getting married, or investing, or studying something different. The progress charts and transits really are useful in showing me where you are now and what's coming up in future. And then the astrocartography shows me actual locations that might be working for you or may work for you really, really nicely based on your astrology. So if you're interested in any of that or you have any questions, please do get in touch for a personal reading. I hope you have a fabulous time here. Check out the weekly horoscope as well. I go through each day of the week and also let you know how it works for your sign of the zodiac. So I hope this gives you something to go on. Have an amazing time, and check out some of my other videos that I do on the channel. Thanks for joining me today. Have a fabulous lunar eclipse. I'll be with you for the total solar eclipse on the 8th of April. I'll make a video on that because that is really it can be a life-changing experience. I love it. Okay, so I hope you have a wonderful time. All the best, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care, guys. Bye.